Okay, I still see many folks not having cameras on, so we should have cameras on, guys. That's why you're here, and you should have the lights on too in the room, so because I want to see you. That's why you're here, and you should have the lights on too in the room, so because I want to see you.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
How's everyone doing this evening? Hello,
We're
everyone.
doing very great.
Good.
Excited. Excited.
Excited?
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yes, I am too.
We're doing very great. Excited. Excited.
Good.
Okay, so we'll be all right. So in 2 minutes, 8 o'clock on the dot. So let's right now, um, because it takes a minute for it to start streaming. So it's already going live now. So if you wanna chit chat a little bit, you can put in the chat. But let's be on mute right now until say it's 8 o'clock, and I just start. Okay.
And Coach Nick, I'm hearing a little feedback from someone, so just make sure you have, if you're listening on the YouTube, make sure you have the volume down on that so we don't get feedback. Coach Nick, I'm hearing a little feedback from someone, so just make sure you have, if you're listening on the YouTube, make sure you have the volume down on that so we don't get feedback.
Okay, hello everyone. Thanks for watching the first episode, part one of two parts of the debut episode of the Next Bestseller. I'm your host, Coach Nick, and you see these wonderful, lovely faces here. They are the contestants of the Next Bestseller, as well as we have the CEO and owner and founder of Quill and Company, Miss Robin McCormick. And so we're going to get their reactions to the first part, the first half of the first episode, which were the tryouts, right? So again, we thank you so much for watching. We thank you so much for watching the first episode, the first part of the episode. I want to let everyone know. So part two will be playing next Thursday, 7 p.m., part two. We'll be playing next Thursday, 7 p.m. And then after that, it'll be the battle rounds. So come next Thursday, you will be starting to, you know, get a good feel for these contestants. And then the following week, you're going to start seeing people based on your support move on in the battle rounds or not move on in the battle rounds. With that being said, let's go ahead and let's start getting some introductions again, just to make sure that everyone who's watching knows who are these contestants right here. So we're going to start first with Mr. Alex. Come on, Alex. Come on, me. Let's talk a little bit, Alex. Tell the people, who you are a little bit.
Hi, my name is Alex Floyd. I'm a trans writer based out of Burtonsville. My story is currently a fantasy story that has some time travel elements as well as some deep, rich, diverse characters that are dealing with their own traumas that reflect my own that I'm kind of working through in this creative process.
Okay. All right. And let's go with Boris.
Hey everyone, it's my pleasure again once more to be in this sumptuous place. Once more, my name is Boris Novi, and my book title is Hope Again. Believing that in a time such as these, where a lot is going on in the world, if there is a way that we can give a hope story out there, then it's a good one. This stems about me. So hope again is about this young man that's going through a hopeless situation and a journey through which he has to come back to help his people out. But again, there's a twist that when he comes back to help his people, when we're left going through a very um a very difficult situation, a dilemma, he realizes that they have become so comfortable for the times that he had left to go fend for himself. So he realized that they've become so comfortable with the situation and they even trying to fight him. So it becomes difficult for him to achieve his long-term goal of helping his people out. So is he gonna make it? That's what this young man is about. Me. That's the best part of the story. And you can't wait to hear the unfolding of this, guys. So we here again. Thank you so much.
All right, all right. Okay. Boris bringing the energy and the heat. Okay. Come on, Megan. What you got to say, Megan?
Hi, good evening. I'm Megan.
Good evening.
Hello. The novel that I hope to be writing is called A Light in Shadow's Grasp. It's about the very, very vulnerable and like hard, difficult journey that we all kind of go through throughout all of the different stages of our lives to figure out who we are in each stage and each day even. So, Alex, I'm also putting some of my own mental health person in my book too. So we have that in common. I was really excited to kind of hear that in your pitch. That was pretty cool. My protagonist is a bounty hunter. Her name is Rosanna. She goes by Ro, and she has this little sidekick who is based off of like folklore from Poland.
Oh,
And it's this like little humanoid goat, and I'm so excited about it. I recently went to Poland, so that's kind of the inspiration behind that. So that's a
all right.
little bit about my bookie.
There you go. That's Megan. Getting the inspiration from Poland, away
Yeah.
from Poland. Okay, Jakaya, what you got? Come on, Jakaya.
Hi, my name is Jakaya Joyce. The title of my book is called Devil's Night, and it's basically about where you basically get to do whatever you want for that one night, but the only rule is that you can't kill anyone. You can graffiti walls, TP houses, but you just can't murder anyone. So there's one girl, her name is Malia Nichols. She wanders off and she gets murdered, and no one knows who did it. A year later, her boyfriend Rome is trying to figure out who killed her. And it's the Devil's Night again too. And while he's doing that, some people are also dying one by one. He's trying to figure out who the killer is before anyone else is dying.
So we got the murder mystery going on here. Now I'm gonna tell you something though. That's actually my favorite genre though, murder mystery, right? It just usually gives you the greatest suspense, the greatest tension, right? Those jump scares. So okay, all right. Yeah, Agatha Christie ain't got nothing on Jakaya. There we go. All right, come on, Tasha G. Tasha G.
There we go. Hey, I'm Sasha D, the Transformation Guide, and I help to guide mothers in motherhood and finding their identity. The book that I'm pitching is called Nothing But Yet, How Your Mom Life Crisis Can Turn into Your Rebirth. And this book is about supporting moms in the way that they need to be supported. And the only person who knows how to support another mom, honestly, is another mom, because we have the empathy and we have the sympathy to do so. I'm a mother of three. I have an 18-year-old son and 8 and 11-year-old daughters. And I have suffered through that mom life crisis, meaning that I didn't know that I needed to change. I thought that being in that role of being a mother and being a caregiver was enough for me, and it was not. So this book was really birthed from me realizing that I needed to pour into myself the way I poured into other people. I didn't need to ask for anyone's permission to take care of myself, and there was nobody coming to save me. I needed to be my own superhero. So in this book, I have created something that I call the Mom Maintenance Community, which is a supportive space for moms to be able to get that support, accountability, and encouragement so they can be inspired to grow in the same way that I have grown.
Oh, bring it. Bring it. All right, mom superpower. That's what we're talking about right here. All right, come on, Joyce. What you got to say, Joyce? All right, Joyce, audio. Come on mute. Let's go.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey everyone, my name is Joyce. I am a mom of three right here in the Laurel area. So my book, the title is called Bitter But Not Broken. And in a world that praises strength but overlooks the strong, I want to leave it there and know that this book is for each and every person. A little bit about the book, it's about a young woman who goes through life being there for everyone, but at the time that she needed everyone else, there was complete silence. And in the midst of going through it all, in the silence, she found something deeper than healing in ways that she never expected. So, bitter but not broken. It's your girl Joyce. Thank you so much.
All right, Joyce. All right. I love it. I love it. Come on, caller. Let's go, caller.
Hi, everybody. I'm Carla Talley. I am a lawyer by day and a writer by heart. And I am born and raised in Prince George's County. So this competition happening here with local artists is, near and dear to my heart. And my book pitch is titled Love in the Key of Black. And essentially, it's a short fiction romance collection of 7 to 10 short stories that will center Black love in all its forms. So, my collection will have stories ranging from the civil rights era and love that happened during that time period to stories that are magical, some magic happening, to stories that happen in present day Prince George's County. And I really wanted to pitch this type of book because it's not something that you see every day where we have a short fiction collection of romance, but also to really highlight Black love and to highlight the highs, the lows, and the joys of it. So I'm super excited and I'm looking forward to talking to you all more about my book.
Okay. All right. Now we have, a few more contestants here. So, all right, I want to find out. We all watched the debut of the first episode. We did part one. Part two will be streaming next week. So let's go around the horn. What are your thoughts? Hold up, wait a minute. Before we do that, all right, because I see she's smack dab in the middle of my screen right here. Come on, Miss Quillen, go herself. Robin, come on. Come on, come on, come off mute and say something to the people, not just the people, the contestants, but also the people who watching right here. What you got to say?
Well, I just finished watching the first episode, part one, and I have to say I was smiling from ear to ear the entire time. I was in the picture room, as most of you guys know, the whole time, so I didn't get to see a lot of the interviews. So I was so anxious to see the interviews, hear your stories, your personal stories. So I sat there and I listened to it, and I was saying to myself, man, this is going to be a tough competition. Everybody's stories were so inspiring, but your backstories were the things that were going to get you through to the next round. People are going to root for you because they believe in your story, they believe in your personal story, your journey, and they see themselves in you. So utilize that when you're giving your next pitch and you're going into the next round. Think about, not just your story for your book, but who you are as an author and who you are as a person, because that's what's going to get people to see themselves in you. So that's my little 2 cents. Congratulations, you guys did a great job, and welcome to round one.
All right. Well, before we get to round one, we still got part two to play next week.
Yeah.
Part two to play next week. Okay, so let's get your thoughts. Let's go back with our caller. Right. What are your thoughts on episode part one of episode one?
Honestly, I'm just so impressed. I got the chance to kind of sit in like the holding area as different contestants went through, and Coach Nick definitely came back in to give us like pep talks throughout and to really just build the energy. But I loved seeing on part one just everyone's unique stories and why they're writing or why they want to pitch these stories. And it's just really cool to see. So I'm super excited to hear more from everybody and to continue to support everybody.
Okay. All right, Boris, let's get your thoughts on part one of episode one.
Well, um, I would say that just the fact that we able to come together as a people and the energy and the way we express ourselves, these just goes a long way to tell how much we need each other. And I sometimes I just have to get out from the fact that, well, I'm a contestant and I just I watch from afar like a third party or fourth party and just see and enjoy the moment, enjoy the people and enjoy the story and everybody. And I think that's what we all need now. And that even when we come to the end of this, and some of us or some others might not, but once we get to that point, we have this great memory of people coming together, and you're giving us that opportunity. So I was very excited, and I always say that whether it's a no, it's a yes, or whatever happens, there is this quote that is attributed to Abraham Lincoln. It says, and I quote, "It's you either rejoice because thorn bushes have roses, or." You complain because rose bushes have thorns, meaning you always have to find a positive in every situation and keep going. I'll leave it for you. Thank you
Look at
so
this,
much.
man. Dropping philosophy and wisdom of Solomon on all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So interesting. We'll get into some of your background here. So we're going to ask the public, the viewing public right now. Please post your questions in the chat in YouTube. Post your questions that you want to ask the contestants here. Right? Post your questions, and we're going to do Q&A soon. So post your questions now. All right. So Tasha G, what were your thoughts on the first part of episode one?
I love the editing, first off, because I was there for the day and I think that it was captured really well. I am actually on that first episode. So when I saw myself at first, I was like, oh, go me. Like, I love the way everything came together because it really captured what I wanted for the day. And I know it left you wanting more. So that's why I'm asking for your vote to keep me going forward because that was just the tip of the iceberg. Like, when it comes to my story, the story of this book, the concept I have for it, the concept I have for future books, I just want to be given that chance to be able to like really showcase that. And honestly, listening to everybody's pitches, I was just like, there are so many different books, but I feel like everybody is tying in with so much heart and so much passion. I think we're all winners already.
Okay, team love and everything. You was impressed by your fellow competitors, but at the same time, you're a competitor. So I heard the little, hey, vote for me. That was smooth how you get that in there. Okay, okay, all right. Okay. Megan, what was your thoughts on part one of episode one?
I thought it was amazing that so many people. Oh, am I here?
Yeah, you
Can
here?
you hear?
Yeah, we're here. You here? You good?
Okay. Sorry, my screen froze and stuff was happening. Okay. Anyways, um, I was just amazed about how many people came and were willing to put themselves out there and be vulnerable, like as artists, like sharing an idea, like not even a whole finished project, is so vulnerable and scary. And it's just
Mm.
amazing that so many people did it in front of cameras, getting interviewed before and after. Like, that's a lot. It's so much. And it's just amazing that we all came and we all did this. And the whole energy of the room, of the experience was just so positive all around. It's just awesome, you know? You can't ask for like a better competition environment.
Mm. Let me ask you a follow-up question right here. So, with the popularity of the show, because that's what we want to do. We want to work hard to make this thing blow up so you guys can get the attention that you deserve, right? People need to know you and they need to know your stories, your books that'll be coming out. So, how do you feel about maybe becoming a celebrity author? What are your thoughts on that, Megan?
Um, I feel very neutral about it.
Okay.
I, I'm still gonna be me. I'm in bed with my dog right now in my pajamas doing this, Like, if I'm a celebrity, great, amazing. If I'm not a celebrity, great, amazing, because no matter what, like I need to write this book, like for
Mm.
myself, for my younger Megan, who always had these dreams of writing and performing and just kind of doing whatever my little heart's desire was. So I'm writing this for her, for little Megan, no matter what.
Wow. Love that. Love that. I think that's, even though she didn't say vote for me, I think that was kind of like a little campaign speech. I'm just gonna say that. I'll just say that. All right, Alec, come on. What's your thoughts on part one of episode one?
As been as it has been said by other people in the room, it was so like emotional to see everybody put their heart and soul out there.
Mm.
It felt like once we got out there into the interviews, everything was a rush and everything was moving around and everything was so crazy. But being able to sit down and see people as we've taken not exactly a weak step away from that, we can kind of appreciate it a little bit more. I think it's really important that all of us have these stories that are connected to ourselves. Everybody's really passionate about what they're writing and what they want to tell. And I've heard it from a few people here that like even if this doesn't work out, they're still gonna go with their book. They're still gonna get their ideas out there. Like Fat Robo says in the chat.
Hold up. That's my question.
Oh, okay, fine.
Don't do
I'll
my
leave it to
job.
you, Nick.
Don't do my job.
Okay, I'll leave it to you, Nick. But any time that we can put ourselves out there is really just a benefit to everybody, ourselves, the people reading, the people who come after us, the people that are with us right now. So I love seeing the first episode. I'm ready for the second one. Um, and I'm very excited to continue on.
Okay. Well said. Well, since you didn't brought up Fat Robo, let's go ahead. Okay, we got our first question from the audience right here from Fat Robo. What are your thoughts on books and their power to change people's minds, both to excite and inform? Who wants to take that question? All right, Tasha G, go for it.
Shout out to Fat Robo for that question. When I read it, I was like, oh my God. So growing up, I did not grow up with social media, with phones, with anything. It was you're outside, you're reading a book, that was it. And I remember books like Sweet Valley High, reading that series all the way up to like book 100 and Babysitter's Club. Like those changed my life because I felt like I was in someone else's life safely. Like I'm there finding out about who they are as a person, but it just gave me an imagination. And that was the exciting part where I thought one day, I said, maybe I could write a book, but what would those characters do and what would they say? And as I started going on more in my journey of becoming an adult and then becoming a mom and then living real life, I'm like, oh my gosh, the story is writing itself. I just need to put it on paper. So being able to change people's minds about the way they think about moms, not saying y'all don't love moms. I know everybody in here has a mom, knows moms, right? But sometimes we are lost in the source of everything. And this is going to be a good chance, a good opportunity with my book to be able to get people to understand the things that moms feel because we are people too. The same way you're scared and you run into your mom for support, mom is scared, but who does she run to?
Mm.
So I hope that answers the question because it just excites me to think about books being, excuse me, see, I'm a mom. It excites me to think about a book being around and literally being around for generations and starting conversations. Like I really love books.
Mm. Love it, love it, love it. Um, let's go with Carla, right? How about you give us your perspective on that question. What are your thoughts on books and their power to change people's minds, both to excite and inform?
This is such a great question. I have loved books since I was a little girl. Like I was always in my room reading or trying to write my own stories. And I feel like books just really allow you to tap into your imagination in a way that allows you to one kind of escape. So if you need an escape, it allows you to just kind of dive into a different world. But I also think it allows you to tap into your imagination in a way where you feel like you don't have any limitations anymore. Because with books and with fiction as well, especially, there's these different worlds that you're in for the entirety of the story. And I think when you have that opportunity to kind of just go through a whole character, the narrative, the plot, it takes you somewhere different where you can really see yourself saying like, you know what, I don't have to be like limited by certain things because, even though this may be fiction, it is also something grounding about it, something based in reality. So, for example, with my romance collection, like I mentioned, there's going to be, stories from the civil rights era, love stories, but there's also going to be stories from the present day in Prince George's County. So, I think in a lot of ways, you know, books and writing, I think it really gives you an opportunity to just stretch your imagination. And in particular, for my book, it gives you an opportunity to, you know, if you're having issues in the romantic realm, if you're feeling kind of like, okay, I'm feeling a little hopeless about romance, I want to really like inspire people to feel hopeful because of the stories that they're reading and able to kind of, observe and be a part of. So I really do think that, books and stories allow you to tap into your imagination in a way that's so beautiful.
Wonderful. You know what? I want to follow up on that because you mentioned PG County, right? And so being a native Washingtonian, born and raised in DC, people come here all the time and filming and doing TV shows and movies and all that stuff. And what do you get? You get like the tourist attractions, right? But you never really go deep into the neighborhoods, into the communities. So I want to know, because it was very intentional about PG County. So, what aspects of PG County are you looking to explore and showcase in your book? Is it just a little fancy, tourist stuff, or we gonna go real
No,
PG County?
great question. We are definitely going real. Like I said, I was born and raised here. So from, go go and sort of like that history. I want to
Hold on.
tie
Did you
that
just say
with it.
go-go? You
Yeah,
just say
of course
go-go.
go-go, because a few
Okay.
years ago they were trying to mute DC and go-go. So I really want to, pay homage to that and basically tie that into my story. But I also think like the slang that we use is so particular, There's mumbo sauce, There's so many different aspects of Prince George's County that I think is so unique. And we actually hear it in like just some certain R&B songs. We hear them shouting out our PG County. We see it in shows. So I think like having it in a book, in a fiction romance where there's so many love stories that have happened, including my parents who were high school sweethearts. I really want to like tie that into the book. But thank you for asking that, because I think PG County has like a special place in my heart. So I really want to put that out into the world.
You know what? And I think you're going to be rewarded by that, because when people, Laurel, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Laurel part of PG County? Yeah, right, part of the county, right? Okay, so I think when people hear that she's a PG girl, for PG County, I think I think some people want to respond and want to throw some votes your way, right? Because when you start talking about some mumbo sauce and go and everything, I said, wait a minute now, wait a minute, what you know about all that? But hey, it's the DMV, right? It's the DMV. We got another question here. Okay, so Tawana, she wants to know if your writing could change one belief in a reader, what would it be? Who wants to take that? How about Chikai? You want to take that, Chikai? If your writing could change one belief in a reader, what would it be?
Oh, geez. Um, if my writing could change one belief in a reader, hmm, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't
Okay, let's
know.
do this here. I want you to think about that because I want to answer. But I'm gonna
Yeah.
put that to Miss Quill and Company herself. All right, Robin, because I think this is a good time to kind of segue into why you launched Quill and Company and why we're doing the next bestseller. So let's answer that particular question. If you're writing or the authors on your label, their writing could change one belief in a reader, what would it be?
Mm,
Oh, Jakaya. Jakaya's
huh?
still thinking on it.
Now go ahead, Robin.
Yeah, but
So, what I would say, I'll share a personal story to answer this question. Some of you may or may not know I started off as an author myself before I founded the company. And when I was writing my first story, I went through the whole imposter syndrome. Who's going to want to read my book? Who's going to care about my story? You know? But you still have this story that's burning inside of you, and you take a chance and you take a stab at it. So I said, you know what, I'm going to do just that. I'm going to write it, and we'll see what happens after that. But I know it was meant for me to write that story. So I wrote my book and I published it. And one day I got a knock on my door. I was actually the president of my homeowners association at the time. And often I get phone calls from residents or drop-bys complaining about something in the neighborhood or having questions about something. So I got a knock at my door, and I'm thinking it's that because I noticed this was one of my neighbors. And I came to the door and I said, "Hey, how can I help you?" And she says, "Someone told me that you wrote a book." So I bought it and I read it. And I said, "Oh, wow. Okay, great." And what she told me was, she said, I was going through a really tough time with my job. Something had happened at work, and she was battling back and forth with management, her supervisors. She knew she was right, but they were really fighting her on this issue, and it's been going on for a while. So she had got to a point where she was ready to give up, and she was ready to throw in the towel. And at that point, someone had just happened to tell her that I wrote a book. So she read my book, and she said, "After I read your book and I put it down, it changed my perspective on how I saw the situation. I now felt that I was able to overcome it. And she said, I was ready to throw in the towel. I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't read your book. It truly changed my life and it made me not want to give up. So I went back to work and I stood up for what I believed in, and they ended up letting her win her little issue that she had at work, and everything was fine. But she said that thank you so much for writing that book because it totally changed my life. And at that moment, I realized that just because you have a story inside of you and you're not quite sure if you want to share it or if it's going to change someone's life, do it anyway. Write the story. You know, God always said God puts a story in your heart for a reason. So that would be what I would say to you about that. It can change someone's mind, it can change someone's life, it can change someone's situation. Write your story and don't look back.
Amen to that. Amen to that. So let's just stick with Robin for a second here, right? Why was it important to you to have the next bestseller?
So it's important for me to have the next bestseller, especially come out of the PG County area and the Laurel surrounding area, because I'm a PG County girl too, born and raised. So, and also speaking of Laurel, I raised my family in Laurel. Like I said, I was very active in my community. My children, I had my children there. They grew up, they're grown now. So I wanted to first start in Laurel with this initiative and give back to my community that helped me raise my children, helped me really be in touch with my community. So as a writer and now as a publisher, it's important for me to go and help people through the process just like I did. So I started off as a novice writer. I stumbled through the process. I wasn't quite sure what to do, how to do it. So I started the company because I wanted to help people not have to go through that struggle. I often hear people say, well, I have a story to write, but I just don't know what to do or where to start. So I want to help people with that process, take the guesswork out of it and help them hold their hand. I always say I'm in the hand holding business, hold their hand through the entire process. So the next bestseller, this initiative is just an extension of that ideal that I have for my company. I want to see novice writers, ordinary, average people who have stories come through this competition and become the next bestseller. Because just like me, I had a story in my heart, but look where that one story turned into me owning a publishing company and then offering this opportunity for you guys. So once again, share those stories. You never know where it'll lead you.
Oh yeah. Okay, come on, Robin. All right, look at this here. She talking about legacy. That's what I'm hearing here. She talking about legacy. You know anything about Go-Go Mumble Sauce too? I just want to make sure.
I do. I love it. Good chicken wings, fried chicken wings with mumble sauce on it.
With a little salt and pepper on fries.
Salt, pepper, and ketchup on the fries.
There we go. There we go. We just let our old heads just talk. Okay, listen now. Okay, so we got another question here, right? Okay, this is from Tyrone. Okay, so Tyrone, caller, are you open to exploring other genres or storytelling forms to delve into the rich history of Prince George's County slash AKA PG County? I had that little part right there. Caller, what's up? Talk to us.
I am definitely open to it. So, as I mentioned, although my collection will be focused on romance stories, each story will be in a different genre. So, I mentioned that there will be a story focused on like love in the civil rights era, there will be magical realism and fantasy. So, I really am hoping that through this collection, I get to tap into different genres while also just being able to reach people who may like have a particular genre that they really love. So if you're someone who loves fantasy, well, this book, Love in the Key of Black, will also be for you. If you're someone who wants something that's really realistic realism, there's going to be a story in Chicago, there's going to be a story in Prince George's County. So I'm really trying to, expand my readerships just so to make sure that like every reader feels like they, have a story in this and they have a like they can see themselves in this story.
Well, all right, all right. Carla looked like she had some fans, and because they like go team Carla in the chat. I'm just saying. All right. See, she understood the assignment right there. She understood the assignment. Okay, Megan, let's come to you now, Megan. All right. So, Megan, how did you hear about the competition again? Refresh the audience memory.
I was walking around the Laurel Main Street Festival and Miss Robin handed me a flyer.
Shout out to the Main Street Festival right there, right? Because it's out there, Robin was dressed in her old black with the Quill and Co logo going across the shirt and everything, right? I think we had Mayor Keith come out there too, right? Did he pass out some flyers, right? Okay. And then we had some council members right there. I think we're gonna have maybe some of them come on in a little bit later on in the show, right? So the city has partnered with Quill and Co. so we can provide this opportunity, right? And then we had Laurel TV come on in and they did some additional interviews. Tell me, Megan, and then I want to go to Alex, same question. What was your impression when you found out the city was supporting this thing? And then they sent their camera crew in addition to ours, but they sent their camera crew to cover it and everything. What's your thoughts? So we'll go with Megan and we're going to bounce to Alex with that question.
As they should. This is amazing for the community to let people know how they're helping its own community members be great and just check off one of their dream list items. That's amazing. Go Laurel.
Go Laurel. All right, all right. Come on, same question you, Alex.
I think it's great that the city is participating with it. Definitely increased how nervous I was coming around that corner and seeing the cameras, but I did kind of feel like a celebrity. So yeah, I think it's great for the community to come together and kind of work with Robin and put this together because it's just going to reach so many more people, and have people tell their stories and get it out there. So I think it's a great thing.
Fantastic. We got another question from Cliff. All right, Cliff, what has helped you maintain your writing process? Joyce, how about you? Let's just throw that question to you, Joyce, right? You're a first-time author. Is that right, Joyce?
Not yet. This will be it.
That's what I'm saying. Your first time, right? Writing,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Okay, cool.
yes.
So let's talk about the process of you coming up with your pitch, the concept. Let's talk about what that process is, and then how do you plan on expanding upon that process as you go into the battle rounds in a couple of weeks?
Wow. I mean, let's be real. I saw this, I think it was 2 or 3 days prior,
Oh,
and
wow.
I had seen it earlier on, I think it was the city of Laurel with the mayor and Robin herself. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I do have this thing in mind, but I never thought about it. So for me, and I know for many of us, this is a walk in faith, that I said I was going to do it. I've thought about this book for about 2 years now, just never knew. But when I saw this opportunity, I said, Lord, I'm just going to step in and I'm going to go for it. And here I am, right? Here we are. Process for me, it has to be early mornings for me. That's probably the best time for me to do any sort of writing because I do have 3 little people. And as you can see, I've been turning on my camera because they keep coming in like, stop, go away. Like, mommy, I gotta focus. So early mornings for me, and I'm super excited to learn more as we go forward. Now, fear was real. Okay, I came in and I was like, why are the cameras here? Like, oh my God, there are so many people here. Like, this is real. And Coach Nick, thank you for always coming back and just helping us, breathe, take it easy. It's okay. And that was great. And each time you showed up, you gave me some additional tips. So I am learning in the process and I'm excited to just keep learning from Robin and the coaches that, we get to work with so again, for me, it's early mornings. That's when I have a peace of mind. I'm usually either some classical music in the background that usually works for me, and just fine tune myself and write as much as I can or put my thoughts together. But it's a learning process. Okay, so I just want to make that clear. It's a learning process. I'm excited to learn and to grow through this process.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. That well said, well said. I said we got some more questions, but before I do that, Jakai, I want to come back to you. And then Alex, I think this is a good question for you as well, right? Um, Jakai, I want to come back to that question again about, you know, inspiring someone to change their mind or attitude on something through your writing. Um, you got an answer for us now? You're on mute. There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yep, go for it.
I guess it was just something similar to what Miss Robin said. Like, I guess like it could like change people's lives and yeah, it could like change people's lives and make them see like better things in the world, I guess. Something so much like what Robin said.
Okay. All right. Alex, what about you? Because when we're interviewing you, when you're on the Coach Nick interview bench, right? I tell you, I name everything after me I touch. All right. So we were on the interview bench, right? Alex, you was like, and then also when you would make the pitch, which again, for those folks who maybe missed the premiere, go back on the Quill and Co. or the Quill and Company YouTube channel. You can watch it, right? Watch part one of episode one. But I think it was very intentional about your book and some impact. So let's explore that question, and then you can feel free to expand upon that.
So I think books are a great like door to open people's imaginations, kind of test their beliefs, make them question things they might have not experienced into day to day. And I think especially in fantasy genres, it makes it a little bit gentler to step out of your boundaries. As I previously mentioned, I am a trans writer and my characters are in a poly relationship. I've encountered a lot of trans and bi erasure, so I'm trying to include that in my book as well. But also to experience characters that go through real human struggles and triumphs makes the reader feel like they're seen. I have a character who doesn't experience time in a normal way and has to think about their long life compared to their mortal lovers. How do you experience that? How do you try and make every moment last? I have another person who kind of skipped going down the path that was laid out for them and now kind of feels that imposter syndrome. And I have another person who thinks that she has to be the one who handles everything, has a very hard time letting other people help her. These are all characters that are taken from pieces of myself, but I know that a lot of the people experience this as well. So reading is that bridge between reality and something a little bit more palatable, like a fantasy book, but can leave a lasting impression on the people that experience it. So that's what I hope. I hope that people read my story and kind of learn about themselves a little bit through what I write.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now we've been joined by, I believe, the youngest contestant in the group right here, right? I think he's fresh from soccer practice or soccer game, right? Come on, man. Talk to us, man. Introduce yourself and tell the people who you are, brother.
I'm Xerxes Olaseha, and I'm 13 years old.
All right, all right. There we go. There we go. Young author in the making. So, what inspired you to join the next bestseller?
Well, because I just wanted to try writing a book, show other young kids that they can write books also.
Okay. All right. Now, are we going to have some impact, and how big of an impact you want to have with your book?
a big impact, um, so that kids will step out there, so they just won't be in their shell. Because my mom, I was a little bit skeptical about it, but I just wanted to try it because I wanted to also show my friend that he could do it also.
Mm, I love that. I love that. Now, I think this is a beautiful segue to mention um, Mary Keith's literacy initiative. Initially, we had, he was focused on the youth, right? And now with the partnership with the next bestseller, now we're expanding it to, as Robin like to say, as young as 10, as old as 110, right? Okay, now next thing you know, next season we're gonna have somebody who's 110 years old. Watch. They're gonna have a whole lot to write about. Okay. So literacy. How is literacy, reading, writing your stories, how does that help you in coping with maybe social challenges as a young man, and then also academically?
Well, helps me academically because it helps me to, well, first I'll say social. It helps me to express myself better to people in with my own words instead of using other people's words or using the same words repeated. It helps me build, and academically, it helps me build a bigger vocabulary.
Mm,
Because sometimes I've written and I've used the same words over and over again, so I look up other words that can mean the same thing as one word, and I use that word instead.
so let me get this right. So not only is you writing your stories helping you be able to cope and develop your skills that can help you better navigate social situations in life, but also it's developing your vocabulary, right? That allows you to articulate and express yourself more accurately and clearly. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So anyone who needs a little tutor on how to, expand your vocabulary, there you go, right there. Right, a little side job. Don't worry, I'll get a little business, make a little money on the side, right there. All right. We're joined by uh one of our esteemed judges right here, right? Mr. Dr. Mike Dixon. We're gonna come to you in a minute, but first we have a question from the viewing audience. This is from oh my goodness. Hey, if I mess it up, please don't hold it against me. But an LG, no, I messed that up. Rodriguez, okay, we're gonna go with that. She had three names in Solus. So I'm gonna say ARS. There you go. ARS. Can't mess that up. Latasha, what areas of the mom crisis can we expect to read in your book? The title Nothing But Yet is intriguing. Why did you name it that?
Okay, thank you. I think you did a good job. That it looks like it's spelled like that. I think you did good analogy.
I
Um,
appreciate that.
Thank you for this question. So, with the mom life crisis, like I mentioned before, when you're at a state of crisis, if you look the word up, the definition for crisis means that it's time for a change. And as moms, we work to nurture everyone and put them in a space where they feel safe and comfortable and stable. And sometimes we can think that that does not include change. It needs things need to stay the same. But as our children grow, as lives change, as relationships change, we have to have ourselves open to change. So I want to actually make the word crisis have a positive connotation. So the mom life crisis is not something to be scared of. It is actually time for you to start a new chapter in your life that prioritizes your needs. So it's all about being able to reclaim your power, prepare for your future, and in fact, prioritize those needs in the process. And it's going to take moms from surviving to thriving and being reborn. And the reason that I use the term nothing but yet is because it is a philosophy that I'm building that actually transforms everything. All right. It's that constant encouraging whisper that no matter how stuck, overwhelmed, or imperfect you feel, there is always possibility of growth, healing, and rediscovering the incredible woman that you are. It's the belief that your yet is waiting full of potential.
Mm. Oh, say that last part again. Say that last part again.
Do you want the whole thing or just the
Just
last
did
sentence?
that last little quote, the last little
It's the
phrase.
belief that your yet is waiting, full of potential.
Oh my goodness. See, I'm telling you, we got some motivational, inspirational speakers up in this thing right here, right? So this book is going to turn into a whole lecture series. That's what I'm hearing right here.
It is actually not a lecture series, but it's the Mom Maintenance Diary. So it's going to be an anthology of different ways to have moms express themselves and to be able to empower them. So
Mm,
you hit the nail on the head with that.
there we go. There we go, man. I put you on a speaking circle with me, See?
There you go.
Help amplify this thing. There we go. Opportunities, you never know when they're going to happen right there. Okay,
There you go.
so let's go to our esteemed judge, Mr. Dr. Mike Dixon. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for the invite to come on tonight and share some insight with everyone. It's fantastic to see everyone on here. The premiere was fantastic, and then Coach Nick, you've done a wonderful job.
Thanks, sir.
Shout out to the city of Laurel, um, and also, of course, the Queen herself, Miss Robin McCormick, for the vision to make this all come together. And I'm here to answer any questions.
Okay, well, the first question is, all right, who seemed the most nervous when it came into the pitch room? That's what I want to know. Joyce said me. Megan said maybe it's me too.
Well, the difficulty of coming into the room is that most of the presenters do not know that we have 5 areas in which we evaluate each speech. They only have 4 minutes to present their ideas. The first idea is clarity of their concept. Even though it's a pitch, sometimes you're not clear on what exactly or where do you want to start, but the clarity of concept is worth 20 points. Originality and creativity, we look at um, how original is the idea, how different it is, and what is their unique perspective. That's another 20 points. Next is market potential, the potential of this book and the genre, having space for everyone that's on the call. Two more sections. You have the delivery
Okay, time out,
and
man.
presence.
Mike, I know you the man who keeps the judges in line and make sure everyone focused. But wasn't my question. My question was, who you think was the most nervous when they came in and pitched?
Well, just remember, Coach Nick, delivery and presence gives us the idea of how the pitch matches the person's intent. And lastly, the audience engagement. Um, their ideas, we are only 3 individuals, right? And we have to remain stoic in order to not intimidate any of the presenters so that they can feel free to be able to talk about their ideas in a clear and concise way. So, Coach Nick, just understand in the judging perspective, we want to be able to be fair and honest with each of the contestants and present a same unified front so that they feel comfortable in order to share their ideas. And then after their ideas are clearly out, we give them the entire 4 minutes. Then we're able to kind of relax, take the coats off, take the hat off, and then just kind of relate to them as individuals. So just know the job as of being a judge is very critical in terms of fairness. But to your point, to your question, I think I think all of the presenters showed a certain level of nervousness, but that last presenter, Sam, was intense.
Sam, shout out to Sam.
Sam had everyone in the room with tears coming out of their eyes because of the intensity of how the struggle is real, and he wants to share that struggle with other people. And for us as judges, we were all moved. Cameramen, everyone in the room had hesitation in terms of wanting to just give him a hug. So everyone else on the call, you have a lot of competition between each other, but just stay focused on your message. And you know what? You could be the next bestseller.
Write that better. Mike, I'm telling you, Mike is running for somebody's elected office at sometime soon.
But
Easy to forget what you said, Coach Nick. This is what I'm gonna say, and I am not gonna be biased any kind of way. I
no kind of
appreciate
way.
you for that. I appreciate you for that.
Be,
Okay, so let me flip it. Let me flip it, y'all.
flip it up.
What do you guys think about Mike's smooth jacket and hat? That's what I want to know right there. Should we do a poll on that? What do you think? Yeah, man, looking sharp. He's dressed for TV. I tell you, I tell you. Okay, so listen here. We have the esteemed council member, Miss Christine John. Oh yeah, you come on my show, I'm coming to you 100%, right? Don't be looking surprised, right? That's why you here. So the esteemed Miss Christine Johnson, who was also instrumental in helping Next Bestseller get off the ground and form the partnership with the city of Laurel. So please come off mute and just, tell us, give a little introduction about, who you are and who you represent and why you felt it was important to broker the relationship between the city of Laurel and the Next Bestseller. Is she frozen? I think she might be frozen. There she go. All right, I think she's unfrozen. All
Okay.
right, go ahead. There you go.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for that introduction. I wasn't quite ready for that one, but I appreciate it. But no, like you said, I'm Councilwoman Christine Johnson from the City of Laurel, Councilwoman at large. Um, met Robin at different publishing events, very excited about literacy when we met each other. So it was great when we had this opportunity to do a literacy event for the city. So once she mentioned it, and look, she has taken it and run with it. I'm so glad. Like it seemed like it started kind of fast. I was wondering how it was all gonna get done, but it looks like you're doing a great job, Robin, Quill Company. So yeah, just looking forward to, and there's so many participants. So yeah, just looking forward to what everyone brings to the table. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make the first one, but I look forward to hearing the different pitches that come along, and glad to see, like I said, so much participation because we are trying to, make literacy an important part of the city of Laurel. So just thankful that she's a part of that.
Fantastic, right? So, okay, what is your favorite genre of books?
Oh, so my favorite is Christian fiction. But I've started reading some mysteries, some is it S.A. Cosby? So starting reading some of those. But Christian fiction is my favorite. I like romance, stuff like that.
Okay, I think we got a little bit of that up in here,
Got a couple
right?
of those.
Romance, Christian fiction, mystery. There's our mystery writer up there, Jakaya. But I think what's Megan? Megan, don't you have a little bit of mystery in yours too?
Sure. There's a curse. We don't know how it's going to get broken. That's mysterious.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is what I want to know. Is that the city of Laurel, what does it mean to the people of the city of Laurel to have this kind of focus on literacy? Now, literacy is not just about reading. You have financial literacy, entrepreneurship literacy, you got health literacy, right? You got these different literacies here, right? So, the holistically, what do you think? How this can have an impact on your constituents?
What was the question?
Well, no, it's for the council member Johnson. And I think she may have been freezing up a little bit. So we'll come back to her. I said when I want that question answered, right? Just in case you hear me, I want to get that question answered. But I want to go to the poll right here. We got a little poll going on here, and it says that so where's it at in the poll here? So they asked the question, do you think one of tonight's contestants has what it takes to be a bestseller? And guess what? 100% of the people say yes, they do have what it takes to be a bestseller. How does that make you guys feel?
Awesome.
Awesome. Joyce.
Encouraged.
Amazing. Thank you for the belief. Yeah.
Encouraged.
Okay.
Motivated.
Motivate. Ooh,
It
motivated.
feels great.
Okay. Okay, hold up. That's motivated. Motivated to do what, Alex?
Be the next bestseller, of
Oh.
course.
There we go. There we go. Okay. All right. We got the council member back again. So we're going to see if we can ask that question again, right? So, you know, holistically and also individually, how do this focus on literacy in all the literacies, as I say, how do you think it's going, what kind of impact you think it's going to have on your constituents, and will they even care, and will it matter what we're doing?
Okay, can you hear me now? I just checked
Yes.
because my husband, our internet was acting kind of funny. Sorry about that. But yeah, I was saying, especially around COVID time, I think we noticed how the literacy dropped with children and wanted to make an impact in that area. And then, like you mentioned, like there's so many other different forms, but we got to make sure we have that base knowledge, reading, writing, comprehension, right? And then other people have mentioned things like financial literacy because that is, lacking in our community a little bit. So all of these efforts can only help make the community better. So with different events like this, hopefully we can get that upward trend that we lost during COVID.
Mm, love that. Um, so you work hand in hand with the mayor's office in terms of just providing some support. Well, not some support, but a lot of support for the next bestseller, right? So can you talk about that relationship between you and the mayor as you support the next bestseller, and some of the resources that you guys contributed to, making this happen?
Yeah, so glad to partner with the mayor and other colleagues, aware of things that's going on. We tend to focus on different areas, but glad that the mayor is focusing on this literacy aspect. A couple ways that we were able to help foster this event, basically having a space so that people can come and we can have this event in different locations throughout the city. We did a lot of work with helping promote. So making sure that it's being available on Laurel TV, on our social media platforms, just getting the word out so that people are aware of what's available to them.
Mm, love that. So do you think other cities within the DMV and beyond should, embrace the next bestseller to come to their town and city?
Of course. Look, that's the plan, right, Robin? The plan. So we started, and everybody looks and say what they're doing, and they want to join in too. But definitely, not so much as promotion, but again, for the literacy piece to make sure that people have that foundation. You say reading, writing, comprehension, that's the basis of everything. So we can only do what we can to promote it.
Okay, fantastic. So I got one more follow-up question on that, right? Because you get to know me, you get to know how I am with it. You can anticipate what's coming. You probably can say, okay, Robert, who is this guy? All right, listen. So next bestseller, obviously, we started in Laurel and we want to continue to have it in Laurel, but also want to take it to the masses throughout the country. So how and what would you do and commit to helping your fellow colleagues in other jurisdictions, other cities and towns to find out about this, maybe tune in, and then also give us an audience so we can, bring the city the next bestseller?
Right. So definitely going to share it. I'm new at this whole councilwoman thing, so I'm still working that piece out. But as I do that, definitely share what's going on in Laurel. We have our Maryland Municipal League Conference coming up. Want to share that. I'm also a part of this movement that's happening in the state of Maryland. So definitely going to make sure that they're aware of what's going on in Laurel, and then we find out what's going on with them. So maybe we can help them also in different ways. So finding different ways of partnership, keeping my ears open, eyes open to what's going on around us, so we can share.
Fantastic, because we need all the help we get, because it's not about the show or the competition. It's about these people, their
Right,
faces, these folks,
right.
right? As Robin say, youngest 10, as old as 110, right? And every single one of you guys, your books are like derivatives of your experiences. They're like mini clones of you, right? And I really enjoy interviewing each one of you, which we're going to save a lot of that for part two of episode one of the tryouts for next Thursday, 7 p.m. on Quill and Company YouTube channel. And then right after that, you come on over to the Coach Nick DC YouTube channel for the live streaming after show, right? Okay, want to get that plug in. All right, now there's something in the chat here, right? Let's go. Crystal. Crystal says, I just started reading books this year, and the genre I found that I can finish a romantic theme. Carla, I would definitely check out your novel. Ooh, okay. Okay. Carla, I mean, I think you just kind of blowing up with some fans here. You and Tasha kind of going, back and forth right here. All right. Okay. So how does that make you feel to hear one of the viewers make such a lovely comment?
I mean, I really love that because I feel as though, like I mentioned before, like sometimes reading can be hard if you can't find the right genre. So I really want, my book to be something that everyone feels like they can read because it'll have so many different subgenres in it. But it's something for everyone. So I love that, you know, my book potentially has the ability to bring readers in because I love reading and I just want people to have that same feeling and that opportunity.
Fantastic. Now, there's another author that we didn't get a chance to talk much with. So the other caller with a C, right? Come on off mute, caller with a C. And why don't you tell the people a little bit about you and also the book that you putting together?
Thank you, Coach Nick. Good evening, everyone. I am excited to be here. I was very, very impressed with episode one, and I look forward to sharing more about my book, which is nonfiction. And it's really going to be full of stories about my journey as a caregiver for my parents who live with me, and they're 89 years old. And we have lots of adventures together. And I think it will help other caregivers to just hear our stories and see how they might, if they are caregivers, incorporate some of our activities and the checklists and suggestions that will be presented in the book into their lives.
So how big is that issue, that challenge?
So right now it's a big issue. The baby boomers are kind of getting up there, they're retiring, and there's really a desire for people to age in place, to stay in their homes. And there is a shortage of nursing home supply, nursing home beds. So many parents are returning or going back to live with their children. They're being invited in, and there's kind of multi generations coming together. So, right now in the United States, it's a huge population of caregivers. They're unpaid, they're mostly women, and they're very devoted to their families.
Mm, mm. Love that there. So Dr. Mike, all right. So from the judge's perspective, right? How can the judges help these aspiring authors to be the next seller, the next bestseller?
Well, in my view, I think everyone, as you go through the next rounds, just continue to think about the storyline that you presented in the first episode, and then build upon the intro, the body, and the conclusion. Don't worry about the conclusion yet, but think about your story in three parts. A strong intro to get people engaged into the concept or the story, into the characters, and then the body of the story. Make sure the body has ups, downs. You take us on a ride, but make sure it's not too many branches. It has to be kind of clear and concise so that people can follow along and fall in love with your characters. I think everyone on here had exceptional character development, exceptional pitch lines. And next level, we want to be able for you to talk about more of the meat, more of the body, and point us in the direction in terms of conclusion. You don't have to get there, but point us in that direction. And I think you'll move on to the next level. What do you have to say about that, Robin?
So
Coach
now,
Nick,
so
I
now
think
he's taking my
he's
job by
trying to
now
take your
asking
job,
questions.
Coach Nick.
I'm telling you, I'm putting Mike on mute. I'm putting him on mute now.
Come on now, come on. I'm just trying to.
Boop, there you go. All right, go ahead, Robin.
Dr. Dixon has been muted.
Go ahead, Robin. Go ahead and answer the questions he gave it to you.
Well, so yes, I definitely agree. We want to make sure that those of you who do go, we're not giving any spoilers out because we still got part 2 to watch next week. But those of you who do go to the next round, we want to make sure that you use this opportunity, this time that you have between this round and the next round to use the feedback that you got from the judges, watch the episodes again, see how you performed. Look at your demeanor. Were you clear? What were the questions that they asked, the clarifying questions that they asked you? So when you move to the next round, you hit all those points. Everything is smooth. Practice, practice, practice. Use this time to practice. So like Dr. Dixon said, really work on being clear, concise, and be confident, but most importantly, have fun. This is a competition. This is something that you've never done before, something that we've never done before. It's exciting, but really enjoy the journey and just have fun with it, and it'll show on camera. That's what's going to give you the support.
Well said, well said. Okay. All right. Listen, speaking of that, right? The public, after the tryout, so we got part 2, episode 1. So part 2 of the tryouts airing next Thursday, 7 p.m. You're gonna have to cultivate a fan base because Mike and his esteemed judges already decided who's gonna go through round 1, right? Okay. And now after that, the power turns to the people. Power turns to the people. And so when you are a published author, part of the job is publicity. You got to sell the book, you got to market the book. If you're not marketing and selling the book, who's going to read the book? Right? So we want to make this as realistic as possible in terms of your life as a published author. So we're training you up in the occupation that you're pursuing as a published author who will become the next bestseller. So with that being said, we put out a little poll, right? And want to see who are the fans' favorites so far. So guess what? That's my drum roll right there. So number third, number third. So we're coming in the third place, Joyce. Joyce is coming in third place. I mean, if you want to clap, at least come off mute so we can hear the clap. Right? What is this? What is that? That's a golf clap. There you go. All right, number 2. Ooh, we have Carla with a K. Carla with a K. Number 2 right there. All right, all right, all right. And then number 1, Tasha G. Number 1. So Tasha G is the fan favorite so far. So far. Now, everybody else, we got some work to do. We got some work to do. Now, Alex, you said, hey, you feel motivated. You feel motivated. So, so we gotta, apply that motivation so people can learn a little bit more about Alex in that fantastic book that you're developing there. And also, in the interview, right? I asked you about people supporting, and you remember what you told me?
Oh yeah, I definitely blackmail my friends. I'm not ashamed to say it. They owe me. I've baked them enough cakes and goodies. They owe me a vote.
Listen, we don't get into your
God.
tactics. All we care about is the final result. All right. So that's something right now. Here's a little question like, okay, hey, Coach Nick, people are asking, people are asking how we can go about voting and everything. So here's what I'm gonna tell you. So when we get to episode 2, right? Because we're saying, well, I should say the battle rounds, because this is episode 1, but part 1 of episode 1. So when we get to part 2, all right, before then, we're going to announce the official voting system. Now, in order for you to know the voting system, what do you got to do? You got to follow Quill and Co. You got to follow Quill and Company. Now, Robin, what are all the social media platforms you're on? Let's go. Number 1, you're on what?
Oh, there's none that I'm not on.
All right, come on, run them
I
down.
know I'm old, but I'm not that old anymore. I am on Instagram.
Uh-huh.
I am on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
I'm on TikTok.
Uh-huh.
I am on LinkedIn. And
Uh-huh.
now on YouTube.
Okay, so there's 5 ways that you can find out how to vote for your favorite contestant, right? So we're going to drop it on the platforms on all 5 of them, but in order for you to know, you got to follow, right? In order for you to know, you got to follow, right? So if you're a TikToker, follow on TikToker, we're going to drop it. You're a YouTuber, drop it. Follow on YouTube, we're going to drop it. You know, Instagram, so forth, so on, right? So now that you know that we're going to make the announcement, now we're not going to tell you when. So we're going to see if you're slipping, right? Or you're sleeping, or you're actually involved in what we're doing, right? So we're not going to tell you when we're going to announce how we're going to do the official voting. You just got to hit that notification bell. So whenever we drop that content, boom, you get that notification and you go right to the Quill and Co. Page, and then you read and see what's going on, how you can vote for your favorite contestant right there. That's what you need to do. That is what you need to do, because you don't know when we're going to drop it, but we're going to drop it. And it'll be very disappointing that your favorite contestant doesn't make it through because you didn't hit that notification bell on all the platforms. Okay, so Carla, you're a lawyer, right? Carla with a K?
I am.
So what is a lawyer doing writing a book? Break it down for us.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I grew up writing stories. Like all my friends would be outside playing, and I was just like in the house reading, writing stories. And I also, in undergrad, I was a creative writing English major. So I've always had a love for writing because I feel like, as someone who grew up a little bit more shy, I felt like through writing, I was able to kind of find my voice. And so I also did a lot of writing focused on like social justice issues, and that sort of led me to my career in representing youth in the criminal justice system. So I think it all ties together because as a lawyer, you have to be able to write really well, but I also love being able to tap back into the creative side of writing through, writing this novel. So, I'm really excited. I just think that writing has always been my first love. And like I said, I'm a lawyer by day, but a writer by heart.
Lawyer with it. Okay, so hold up. Wait a minute. Let me ask you this now. So, what if you become the next bestseller and you're blowing up? Are you going to make a choice on staying a lawyer or fully? The judge will be laughing at me. Judge be laughing at my question. Being a lawyer or fully being an author,
Um,
right?
Coach Nick, don't tempt me. I'm ready to
I'm gonna
be a
tempt
full
you. I'm gonna tempt you. I want to know. The people want to know.
I am ready to be a full-blown author. Like that's always just been my dream. So don't tempt me with a good time because I
She said it. We got it. It's on tape. Okay, there it is right there. She put in the resignation in a couple of months. All right. Okay, so I want to bring you on the stage here because I had my little birdie in my ear tell me we got Councilmember Christine, one of her colleagues, esteemed colleagues, the city council president, Miss Kyla Clark. Here she's in the room. Come on, camera. Let the good people see you. Unless your internet is frozen too. There we go. There
No,
we go.
I think I'm on. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can see you. How you doing tonight?
How are you? Hi, everyone. It's so good to see you. Thank you for letting me come on just to say hello. It was great seeing everyone on Saturday, the excitement in everyone's voices, just being in the city of Laurel and in the building. Thank you, of course, to Quilling Company. I loved seeing all of the background insider video of everything that was happening in the back room, which you didn't get to see. It was kind of like secret. So it's good that it's out, and I'm so excited to see how everyone did. And I'm just excited to see what happens in the next coming weeks. There's so many talented people. I loved seeing the diversity in the room and with all the people that are interested, all age ranges, all backgrounds, and that's what we really thrive on in the city of Laurel, Maryland, where we just love diversity, we love people, and we love for the talent to bring the talent out. So I love the ideas that I've seen that you all were bringing to the table and for them to be voted on. And we just really, really are rooting for each of you and so happy to see all of the great things that you will bring forward in the next coming weeks. So don't let the momentum die down because I promise you, we're rooting for you in the background.
Amen to that. Amen. Now listen. All right. So when the contestants was lined up outside, this is what I want to know from you. When the contestants was lined, I mean, it was a line, right? Line up outside, right? And then when you saw that line, so I got a two-part question. Here's the first part. When you saw that line, what was your impressions? What was your thoughts?
Oh, just happiness and joy because when you're hearing all the buzz on the inside, there was the excitement on the inside with the preparation that the contestants couldn't see outside. They were just as excited inside for you to come in and preparing for you, but to go outside and just being able to ask everyone, like, where do you live? Where did you come from? What's your background? Asking them their names, even seeing the children that were with the parents. You saw families and grandmothers that were in the line supporting their families. Like, this is what we are. This is what America is about. Supporting each other, showing talent, being creative. And I just loved meeting each person in the line just to hear your story and just to hear where you're from. And we even had someone from the city of Laurel, which of course I'm always rooting for. And I didn't even know that he actually writes poetry and writes books. So it's just, trust me, like it was bringing me joy to meet each of you and to just hear your background, your story, and just to see you all just vibing with each other. It was definitely giving the American Idol style. And there was no animosity. You all were rooting for each other and just having conversation.
Okay, fantastic, right there, right? So, I mean, okay, we won't have to put her on the speaker tour too, okay? Inspiring some folks here, right? Okay, now I was inside, then I came out, then I came back in, and I saw you. And you had this radiant glow. It was so warm. It was like a warm presence, right? And you extended your hand and you introduced yourself. Hey, I'm Councilman President Kyler Clark. And I said, I'm Coach Nick. And you said, okay, right? Like, is it a contestant? Or what is it, Coach Nick? What's it? Well, all right. So I want to say, first of all, that greeting was so warm, right? And I appreciate that, right? Because you can tell from the way people greet you is just how they are, right? So I appreciate that. And then it shows your heart. So speaking of showing your heart and the warmness here, right? What? Because I asked the same question of Councilmember Johnson. What are you prepared and committed to do to help take next bestseller to not only the surrounding towns and cities of the DMV, but beyond throughout the country? Because as you say, this is America, right? So what are you prepared to do to help support and maybe call up some of your colleagues in other towns and cities and say, hey, check out the show. We got this big grand finale that's gonna happen on June 28th. You can be the next host city. So what you got to say?
Well, I can tell you this. When you're in the city of Laurel, Maryland, they know that we root and we go hard for our folks. So the fact that you are even on the grounds that we are so prideful about, We have residents that are selling books now, and the one thing they've come to me and said, I just can't seem to get my book in the library. I was on it. Their book is now in our local libraries. So anything that you have that is constructive, we want to support you. Trust me, that's what we do here in the city of Laurel. We're not just talk. When we say we're about diversity and we're about supporting our residents and our constituents and the people that live here, this when I try to shake your hand, it's because I really genuinely do care. I want you to win. And so that is one thing that I'm committed to, is making sure that you are number one in our local libraries, but to try to get you into any facet of whether it's our events or you getting a table or spreading the good word about your book, because we want you to be the best that you can be, especially here in the city of Laurel, because when you win, we win together.
So that's fantastic. But does that mean you're going to reach out to your colleagues in other cities to get them to bring the next bestseller to their city and town as well?
Listen, I say yes, but I'm always I'm always going to root. So I'm happy to share the good news about the next bestseller, because I don't even think you need us. At this point, people have seen it and heard about it,
Oh,
and
we need you now. We
they're
need
so
you. We
they're
need you.
so surprised about it and so excited just from how we have talked about it, that they're like, "Oh my gosh, maybe that's something we should do." So I think people are already excited about it, and they may be coming to you all to ask you to do it in their city in Maryland.
See, that's what I'm talking about right here. See, I can just put her in my pocket and take her everywhere. That's what I'm talking about. We need that energy there, right? So let's do take a little business here. Now, the show itself, right? The show, even with the support of Laurel, right? The show still has a price tag. And so to help keep this show flowing and running, we also extend the invitation for partnership for sponsors, right? Not just the corporate sponsors, which we want, but also the local small businesses of Laurel, right? The sponsor to be on this platform and talk about your business and how your business supports the different types of literacy, right? So if you're watching your small business, right, or your solo entrepreneur, or your mid-sized business or corporation or a nonprofit who want to help, spread literacy to the people that you serve in the community, we ask that you partner with us, help bring in those resources so we can make the show even bigger and better and expand our reach so we can have a bigger platform for these wonderful faces that's on this show, right? So that's what we need. That's what we're asking for. And that's our commercial right there. So we got time for just a few more questions before we end this live right here. Okay. So after the tryouts starts the battle rounds where the people vote. So you have to evolve. You have to develop and grow your pitch and your strategy right here. Right. So there's a little surprise that we have not told you. So I'm going to tell you right now, and I want to get your thoughts on this. Right. So for the viewing public, after next week's show, which is part 2 of episode 1, the tryouts, after that, we're going to have the battle rounds. And what we're going to do, even though you're going to decide who moves on, we're going to pair contestant versus contestant right there in the pitch room. That's right. So they're going to come on in. We're going to introduce them like it's a big old MMA fight or a boxing style, right? Okay. And then one contestant is going to go and make their pitch while the other one is going to be sitting and watching. And then they're going to flip. Now, they're not, even though they're going head to head, you still decide who moves on. So it's not about beating that contestant in that round. It's about still, using that contestant who's paired with you to give and bring out your very best, right? Now remember this, you're performing your pitch and not just making a pitch. So now that we're announcing that we're going to be pairing you up when we start battle round, starting with battle round 1. How do you guys feel about having your competition in the room watching you pitch and then you watching their pitch, right? Who wants to go first on that? All right, Tasha G.
First off, I'm with myself all the time, and I'm my biggest competition. So Anybody else that comes, it's all good. I'm ready.
Ooh, she ready. Boris, what you got to say about that, brother?
Well, pretty much as it stands to the point, I would say, um, hope. They say hope for the future gives you power in the present. And that power, that's what sparks me every now and then. So, and I think when you made a statement, Alex was like, I'm motivated. It's another word to say, I hope. So it's about hope. So I hope to be with my competitor and not just be, but also to what to I hope to inspire them, inspire themselves. Because when you know you come like and I love the idea that Joe brought about the head to head, because it gets more for you to see. Sometimes someone could go beyond what you had seen before. Because right now, just on this platform, I kind of like saw how everybody did do better than we did before. So this is helping us a lot. So I'm ready for that.
All right, all right. He said hope, man. I'm running a hope. So I know I'm going to do my thing, but at the same time, I want to inspire you to do your very best. That's kind of like a common theme here. Ooh, we did a good job getting these contestants. I'm telling you right now. Okay, come on, Joyce. How you feel about going head to head?
Listen, like I said, I'm walking in faith. Okay. As Boris mentioned, it's all about hope. I will say from the first time we all met, we've been super supportive of each other. So I'm just looking forward to that. I remember Carla with a kid was saying, sis, you got this. Tasha was also saying, you got this, sis. So that's what's about. So at the end of the day, like I said before, we are all winners because we have stepped in and we walked in faith and we are here. Hello.
Hello, hello. All
Hello.
right. Now, Jakaya, right? Now you talk about nervousness, anxiety. How's that gonna, the head to head gonna play with you?
Um, Honestly, I'm ready. And I'm excited. But I probably still will be a little nervous, but I'll I'll do my best, I guess.
Okay, all right. I was so surprised by it. She said, "Well, honestly, bring it on. Basically, I'll be ready." Okay, all
Can I
right,
just
all
say
right.
we will all be nervous? So you're not the only one. Okay.
There you go, right there. Okay, so I want to go to what the people are saying right now, right? Okay, Calvin Smith. When do we vote for? When do we vote for Carla with a C? Carla with a C. Okay, Carla, you get some fans in there already. Okay, is that from your people from Missouri? See, we got people already across the country tuning in right there, right? There we go. Let's see here. Then we got also want to say Sheba. Um, she said congratulations to everyone. Mizu Boss, man, I'm telling you these names, boy. Head to head, Joyce got faith and she leaves for leaves. I guess man, she lives for this moment right here. All right, so all right, Joyce, we got some supporters there, right? Let's see here. Let's talk about here. Tasha G once again. Ooh, Tasha G. So Jaleesa Santiago says, she says, ooh, Tasha G. Like, ooh, when you get like your favorite cookie out the oven, like fresh out the oven, and you go, that's what you're doing for people. I'm saying that's what you're doing. It's getting late. I must be getting hungry. Okay. So to bring this thing to a close right here, right? We have these wonderful contestants right here, all of them worthy of the honor and the opportunity of being your next bestseller, right? So the power's up to you. We need your support so we can support them. So let me just do another piece of business here. So next week is part 2 of the tryouts. After that, every Thursday, 7 p.m., we're going to have the show. So we got part 2 of episode 1, the tryouts next week. Then we got battle round 1, battle round 2, battle round 3, and then we have the grand finale June 28th. Now the grand, look around, we're going to let you talk about that a little bit right there. So the grand finale June 28th. Now the grand finale is not the event itself. It is part of a bigger event right here. We're talking about getting dressed up in your high heel sneakers, right? Looking all good, smelling all good. It's going to be a soiree. Just that word. Don't you got that word soiree? That's what we're going to have, a soiree right there, right? So, Robin, you want to talk just a little bit? Just tease them just a little bit about what they can expect at the grand finale on June 28th.
Wow, it's hard to just give a little tease. I want to tell it all, but I'm going to hold a little bit back. But just know our top 4 finalists will be joining us on the stage at our finale event. So it's going to be pretty exciting. The house is going to be packed. Of course, there's going to be cameras and media there. We're going to have some special guests, and we're going to have some very esteemed judges for our finale. You'll get to meet some of our Quill and Company coaches. You'll get to meet some of my current clients that have books. So, stay tuned. We have a couple other little surprises for you, but it's going to be a really special event. And one of you will be there, and one of you will be the next bestseller. So who is it going to be is the question.
Who is it going to be? Oh, Alex put his hand up and said, me. Everybody else said clap. He said, me. Alex is ready for that head-to-head right there. So that's right. Who's going to be the next bestseller? So did you guys hear the theme song, though? What was your thoughts about the theme
Yes.
song? Come on,
Did you
view.
guys
I want
hear
to hear
that?
this. What was your thoughts about the theme song there?
I don't know if they heard it, Coach Nick. You
Did you
guys
not?
got to go back, watch episode 1, listen to the music in the background, and listen to what it's saying.
Absolutely. And we got in the chat again, so we're going to post it again. If you miss the first part of episode 1, go ahead and you can we're posting it again in the chat. So go ahead and post it again in the chat. All right, there it is right there. So part 1, just click on that link. It's going to take you right there to part 1 of episode 1, the tryouts, right? And listen to that theme song. But I got a little surprise for you. If you like that theme song, guess what? You're going to hear more of it in episode part 2, right? Because that theme song is fire. I'm just going to say that. I'm just going to say that right there, right? So we got all the bells and whistles for this show. We got great contestants. We got great resources. We got great partners like Council Member Christine Johnson, Council Member Ms. Kyler right there. So everybody is here to support you guys. But the biggest support we need is support of the people. Tune in next week on Quill & Co. YouTube channel, right? 7 p.m. for the second part of episode 1, the tryouts. And then right after the show, you come over to Coach Nick DC, yours truly, come on over to my channel, and we're going to do the live after show. And we're going to do that every week, all the way up until June 28th, the finale, right? So thank you guys for watching. Thank you, contestants, for being on here. Thank you, special guests, right? Like the council members, right? Maybe we get the mayor here in the next episode. So thank you all for joining and watching. We love the fact that you're blowing up the chat on YouTube. Follow Quill & Company, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and also you can always follow yours truly, Coach Nick DC. So Coach Nick DC on YouTube, especially on LinkedIn, Instagram. Those are 3 things I'm rolling with. And then make sure you always come back and subscribe and hit that notification bell, because we're going to drop other content, behind the scenes footage that you didn't see in the show. And also we're going to announce the official process of how to vote for your contestants. If you want to be there to support your folks, follow us, hit the notification bell. All right. So on behalf of Robin and Quill and Company and all the contestants, I'm Coach Nick, your host, your business coach, your lifestyle coach, and any other kind of coach that you need to help you get the best out of your performance. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful good night. And that's it.